Marissa and I are just having fun. Like it's like there's two little kids, like a 3-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl, and we're just having fun together. And and so like we had the big event last, weekend, a week ago. We had over 100 people that showed up.
It's a lot.
We haven't even met, you and I haven't even met in person.
You know, probably this fall.
I don't know.
Well, next time we're coming out will be planned. And so that'll be easy to like make a plan then to see you.
Yes and no. I mean, so, so anyways, so there's there's 100 people, a lot of people, and there's a bunch of people that come from pickleball. And these people that I play at pickleball, they're all my age, around my age, a little older, but around my age. And they all tend, because we play during the morning when most people have real jobs. So, and almost all of them have, places in Florida or Phoenix that they go to for 6 months, 6 to 9 months. So they're snowbirds. And they're all pretty good pickleball. I mean, they're all good pickleball players. And so they're pretty athletic. They're very athletic and uh, you know, and they have a lot of fun together. And, I haven't known them for very long. I mean, I played one season. Now I'm playing another season, and then they all tend to be pretty successful. So they don't have real jobs, so they can play pickleball when other people have real jobs and stuff. So they're funny, and so I don't know, there's like 8 of them that came to the party, and and so they're all kind of congregating together. So they have their own group, and then there's another group, and then there's another group and stuff. And I have connections, and I'm the host, so I'm supposed to be nice to everybody. So I go and introduce and shake their hand. Hey, how'd you hear about us? And so a lot of people I don't know, and but these guys I did. So I come over to the where they're sitting. They're sitting on the they're sitting on the. So this is the Riverside Retreat. So they're sitting on the deck. They're sitting on the analytic deck. So they're sitting over here on the analytic deck. And so I walk up and they're like, one of them, Gordon says, Mark, you know, we have a little bit of confusion about you. So they've known me for, they've played a whole season of pickleball with me and now I'm playing again. And I'm like, okay. And they say, we were talking with your daughter Angela. She's the youngest one. We flew her out. She has her own photography business, and so we flew her out, and so she was taking pictures, and and uh, and they said, yeah, we were talking about how you're really quiet, like you don't say anything on the pickleball court, and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to say? And they're like, well, good hit, or like, okay, you know, whatever. So I go ahead and so I go ahead and so we're out on this deck here, and I'm standing up, and they're like, "Oh, we told her that you were really quiet and you never said anything." She said, "Yeah, that's not him at all." So we're confused about you. Like there's two very different. So there's, I think, 3 or 4 men and 3 or 4 women. And one woman, it's interesting. Like I'd never met her. So the guy who organizes it, Virgil, it's a lady friend of his, not girlfriend, but just a lady friend. So they've just kind of met and stuff. So she came to the party, and we're standing out by the expressive deck. And so we're standing out by the expressive deck. And so it's like, and so he introduces her to us, and I can feel her energy. So we just meet. Like we don't know each other from anybody. A total stranger. And I mean, within a few minutes, I don't know. She said something, I said something, and I said, I don't know, something was said. And I said, yeah, well, coming up, this June 17th is the fifth anniversary of our death of our son's suicide. And all of a sudden, tears, like 3 minutes, 5 minutes into the conversation, Virgil's standing right next to me. He's talking to somebody else. She and I are having this conversation. Tears start welling up in her eyes. And I said, do you need a hug? And she's like, yeah. And all of a sudden, like I give her this huge hug and we just hold on to each other like minutes. Just like it's just that. Later, he says to me, he's like, yeah, I saw that. Like, so I asked her, I said, I saw you crying with Mark. And she's like, uh-huh. He's like, are you okay? So so that was before. So that's just met her, just first time introduced, her name, my name, and we start talking, and all of a sudden she's crying. And I'm hugging her. So then we go over to the later, I don't know, about an hour later or whatever, we're over at the analytic deck. And so she's like, and I'm, really cool and this sensitive guy and everything. And then the guy brings up, he's like, yeah, we have this confusion, about you. I'm like, okay. And so we have this confusion about you. And I'm like, and so now it's like, what do I show them? Like you could introduce me. This would be a fun, like a fun party trick. Like you could introduce me to anybody in your life and say, Mark, I want like after they meet me, this could be your parents, for example, just as an example, or anybody like your friends, like the girls, the young girls you mentor, anybody, like anybody, and you could say, Mark, I'm going to ask them after they meet you. So what do you think of Mark? And you tell me what you want them to think of me, and I can get it to where they'll think that.
Okay.
It's really fun. Like it seems a little weird, but it's not. It's just really fun. And so your parents, like if you wanted your mom to go ahead and think of me and say, he's such a nice guy, and he's gentle, he's compassionate, he's loving, he's I don't know, he's a super nice guy. And he loves pastors and like it, like
Yeah,
he
but then Mark, would you be being fully yourself?
ah see
Because
that's
to me, I don't want you to not be you.
no,
I,
you really don't want me to be me.
I mean, there are times where I don't, Mark, and I'll own that. There are times
Right.
like Mark is being Mark, and do we have to be Mark? Like, no.
No, Mark doesn't have to be Mark. Mark can be anything that Mark chooses to be. See, I'm very different than other people, so I can whatever, whatever. So you go ahead and you say, and I'm telling you, play this game with me. Because if you do, it will be so much fun for both of us. And so the first time, again, it can be anybody. Just let's use your mom, for example. So you can go ahead and say, I want my mom to. So you ask, what do you think of Mark? And 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 she says, and she'll say exactly what you say that you want her to think of me. And then the second time we meet, then you say, okay, I'm going to ask her the second time, what she thinks, and then you tell me how you want the whole thing to be, and I think I can make it be exactly the way you want it to be.
Okay. I believe that. I get that.
I mean,
I'm
if I'm not the center of the universe, does Mark? Who is Mark? Like, who is he? Like, he's whoever he wants to be. Like,
That's
what's that?
that that I get that like I can be a different version of myself today that I can tomorrow. Like,
Yeah, I can be anything I want to be. And so when they're your friends or friends or family, or, when they're, whatever they are to you, well, you get to choose what I'm like. And so a lot of times people won't introduce me to their friends or family because they think I'm going to treat their friends or family the way I treat them. And it's like, why would I do that? You're not them. They're not you. Like, I'm not going to treat your friends and family, so it's funny. So, so the next, so that was Saturday. We had the big party. And then Monday we played pickleball, you know,
okay.
and so, well, no, go back to the river deck or the analytic deck. So I go over there and I'm like, okay, what am I like? Here I hug this woman and have this crazy, insane connection with her, right? Like I can feel like all of her energy going through. I can feel that she's been hurt. I can feel the pain. I don't know if it's a suicide. I don't know. I don't know if it's estrangement. I don't know what it is, but she is definitely hurt. So then we go over to the deck and I could tell she's an empath. So what she's doing is she's reading me, so she opens me up. She just, and, Virgil, who I've known for over a year, his son died in a motorcycle accident like 6 months ago. I thought I told him that Jonathan died, but I guess I didn't. He didn't know. So this lady friend of his, in minutes, I tell her, and he says, yeah, she told me that your son died. I said, yeah. I said, oh, I didn't tell you that. Oh, sorry. Uh, you know, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Or it's a huge, whatever people want it to be, it can be whatever it want it to be. And so I go over there and I'm like, but she's got some sass to her too. And I love sassy women. I love, I love winning over women. I love women who think they've got me. I've got him. I've got him understood. Really? You think, this will be fun. So, so then I go ahead and say, I think I'm going to open it up a little bit, So we've played so much and I don't talk on the pickleball court. I just don't. I don't talk when I'm playing sports. I, pretty much I'm there to win.
Fair.
You know, so Kofi Odom, he was from Africa and he played volleyball with me. And he's like, Mark, you don't smile when you play volleyball. I'm like, okay, is that a problem? He's like, Jesus smiled. I said, the Bible doesn't say that. The Bible says Jesus wept. It doesn't say Jesus smiled. He says, no, he smiled. I said, how do you know that? And he said, because the little children came up to him.
Yeah, but
And little children won't come up
grumpy
to you.
people sometimes.
Little children won't come up to you. If you're a stranger, little children won't come up to you by and large unless you're smiling. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'd never thought of that before. So I'm pretty, you know, I'm pretty, and so I'm, I do pretty well in pickleball with them. So, but then there's one guy that I know, and he and I sit around and talk for hours afterwards. And so, I'm really deep, but then I'm really quiet. So that people can't, and women, they love to figure men out.
Yeah.
And the more confusing a man is, the more women are drawn to you
Yeah.
because they're like, I'm going to figure this guy out. It's like, are you? You think? Anyways, so I'm like, she's got some sass. So there's another part. There's this super compassionate, loving, empathetic. She just drew it right out of me. But there's another part of her that she's sassy, and I could tell that she was sassy. So then I go ahead and I tell them the story about, when I was 8 or 9 years old, and my mom gave me the secret to women. So women are funny. Like they think they understand men. And so my energy is very driver by and large. It's just driver analytic. Like this guy's, yeah, this guy's a man.
Yeah.
When you lead with a 9-year-old story about your mom giving you the secret about women, and it's, and you're a 9-year-old boy, and you go ahead and get like it's, and women are just, it's like a baby, it's like, oh. So I knew I just led with that. And they're like, oh. And so all the women are like, oh, wow, that's so, that's so cute. Like, that is so amazing. So I just seduce all the women right there in front of the men, just seduce them all. And they're just like, oh, this guy, wow. And then I don't know, she had this sense that Mark's maybe playing her a little bit, which I was, because she wants to be played. She does. So then somehow something was said. So I said, so Gordon, I'm like, well, I have many different angles to me. So I can be really quiet or I can be really, outgoing. So I tell this story, win all the women. And then all of a sudden, something was said and she said, well, I disagree with that. I love when women disagree, and then I explained the God complex to her that women have. So here you've got this guy that 9 years old and his mom, he's so sweet and such a nice, he's this perfect little boy. He's this ideal man. And then all of us, and I've got all of these really cute stories that win women's hearts. They just like, oh, like I want my husband to be just like you know, like they do. Like, what a great story. But then I'm like, well, yeah, but women have this God complex too. And they're like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, like they can give birth, so they think they're like God. That really ticks a woman off. I mean, she's got the complex, but now you're mapping her. So then what they do is then they go, I disagree. And I'm like, well, actually, you don't disagree because disagreeing is kind of stupid and arrogant. And all of a sudden, I just put it into gear, put it into reverse. And now women, they're all, and she's like, like, I love when women do this. I'm like, you do realize there's three of us here against you. I'm like, yeah, that's women hunting in packs. No, my wife and 4 daughters, they do that all the time. Get more women over here. Like, the more women, the better. You can never have too many women. And they're like, it's so fun to play with them. And so, like, so what you could do, so what I do is I show the amiable part of me, and that draws them in. So they like me because he's such a nice guy. And then I might mix a little bit of analytic and expressive in. And so that it's like making it like some type of special dish. And so then so then I go there, and that creates curiosity, and then I'll challenge them, and I challenge them in such a way that it's irresistible. Like Dave Ron, he went ahead and said, Mark, being around you it's irresistible. Like you're like Christmas candy my wife puts out over the holidays. And so there's something chemically in a brain, and I can do it to men and women, but obviously it's a whole lot more fun to do it to women. Like, women are just so fun to play with mentally, emotionally, relationally. Like, it's just so cool to do that. And so as I started to challenge her, Virgil and the other men are like, whoa, like he's not, you can't say that, but I can. So yeah, do that. And so the first time we meet, you tell me this is what I want. So you ask after I leave, what do you think of Mark? And they're going to say exactly what you wanted them to say. Then the second time we meet, you tell me what would you like them to meet the second time, and then the third time and the fourth time. And
Okay.
so, like, what else am I going to do with my mind? Like, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
No, I'll think about what I want them to say.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I was like, I was thinking you were thinking, I'll think about it. You're not going to think about it, like, no, because so there's things that I can do. There's things that I can do that in your heart you want done. And there's things that your mom wants and your heart. So I can see and feel both of your hearts, like big time. And the connection. So Kaylee, what is she? 6 months old. She was in the hospital and dehydrated. And so I don't know, 9:30 at night, I go to the hospital and to see Ginger Ann, our oldest one who has 6 kids, and Kaylee. And it was weird because, when a baby's really sick, um, they want their mom. They don't want anybody. They don't want dad. They don't want anybody. But when I went there, Kaylee, like she wants to come to me. And I'm like, that's really strange. And I held her and we played and Ginger Ann. And so I can feel a woman's heart. I can feel the hearts of a mom and a daughter. I can feel the hearts of a daughter to her dad. Like I can feel what people want.
I may regret asking this, but what do you feel for me with my mom and then me with my dad?
So with your mom, you want to be respected and understood at a deep level. And so, yes, you're like her, but you're not. And your mom struggles with that a lot. And so she wants to accept you, but she has a hard time doing that. And she wants to feel connected to you, but she has a hard time feeling that. You want, you want to have the relationship move. You want to have the relationship move to another whole dimension, like your women. She wants to be wowed by you. You want to be wowed by her. Like she's your mom. Like you were in her womb. Like you're a part of who she is, but you're a part of but she has a hard time accepting that in you. And you want to honor your mom, but there's hurt. And you want to say things, but it hasn't gone well in the past, so you just don't. And so, yeah, with your dad, what you want is you want a relationship like Ginger Ann and I have. Right? That's what you want. Where we can, you know, it's just crazy. It's just absolutely insane the relationship I have with that little girl. Like it's just, yeah. It's like unconditional love. It's like no matter what happens in life, you know that there's a connection. And your dad wants that with you. So there was once, where, they've been married for 14 years, 6 kids, and it was kind of rough. Her husband has a hard time with me, and, I would have a hard time with him. And so she never told me, I never told her. We just sensed, maybe, maybe dad is a part of the problem. So we just took a break for 2 years and we still talked and stuff. There was no anger. There was nothing. There's just, and we didn't, we did for 2 years to see if that would help the marriage. It didn't. But, it's just, and we came back together again. Elise, she's got, 3 kids, and she and her husband are over in Germany. And my Uncle Gary said to me once, he said, "You're very different, Mark, than other people." And I said, "How so?" And he said, "You have the capacity to have many, many deep relationships." And so Elise, she and I worked together for, I don't know, 7, 8 years, and very, very close. And her dad left her and her mom when she was 12 years old. And and she and I could, not talk for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And and when we come back together, it's just crazy. It's like great friends. It's like Kenny, like every dad wants to have a relationship with Kenny, like with their son, like I have with Kenny. And every son wants to have a relationship with their dad, like Kenny has with me. And I hurt for Kenny and his dad because his dad doesn't understand. It's hard for a parent to understand. It's hard for a parent to understand. It's hard for me to understand with my children. It's hard for them. It's hard to have deep relationships with your kids or your kids with you. It's just hard. It's just hard. I mean, it's crazy to me. I mean, I don't think most men like the relationship that Ginger Ann and I have. It's insane. And that's every dad wants that. And Melissa, she and I have this crazy, holy cow, so different than Ginger Ann. But it's like, oh my goodness. So I don't know how accurate that is, but I'm guessing it's probably pretty close. And so there's things that I can help your mom understand about you that, like, you know, she's more likely to receive it from me than receive it from your dad.
That's
Just
probably
which is strange. It doesn't make any sense. But I learned that with my wife, where she read a book and the book told her something I've been telling her. She didn't take it from me. So we don't often listen to the people closest to us. And so the connection, I don't know. I've never met your parents. You don't talk a lot about them. Um, and so my guess is that, you know, your your mom and dad could feel the connection I have with you. They just will. And my guess is your dad might go ahead and he might be very thankful that his daughter is connected with somebody that has, he might be a little afraid too. I don't know. Dads are a little like, there's this two parts to it. So if Norman's okay with it, and, so I think he would be okay. Like when Ginger Ann has a connection with a man my age, um, I'm thankful. Like I brought one into her life specifically and intentionally because I want her to have as many and deep relationships as she can. And so, but your mom, she'll she'll be the connection you and I have, she'll go ahead and she'll have some confusion about that. She won't be, she's not entirely sure, what that looks like. But I think you like you see things that most people don't see. And so I think you'll have an out of body experience. Just look and just shake your head and say, how does he do that? Like how? Like how does he do that? You'll go, you know, you'll be like my four daughters, where they just roll their eyes at their dad and say, how does he? Man, that guy is strange. So pickleball the next Monday, we're there, and then we can finish up. Pickleball the next Monday. I don't know how. I just was playing with all the women. So the men were playing together, and I was playing with the women, and it just how it happened and everything. And the guy who said there was confusion, he said something about he's like, yeah, Mark's playing with all the women, and I don't know what word he used. I wish I knew. I don't know if it was worship, adore, very endearing term. He's like all the women, you know, revere Mark or admire him or like I'm like, and I wanted to say, what did you say? But I'm like, that's going to call attention to it. But I wanted to say, can you give me like, why do you say that? Like, and how do I get my wife and my daughters to see, how do I get my wife and my daughters to see what the ladies here are seeing? So fathers, daughters are really intriguing. Mothers, mothers, daughters are really intriguing. Mother's sons are really like all of the different relationships. They're all fascinating on how the interplay is and what goes on, and just I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
It'll
No.
be fun. And then like your other friends and just anyone. And it doesn't have to be a second. You just introduce. And if you tell me ahead of time, like what you want, then I can craft it to do that. If you just want to do it spontaneous, I'm pretty good read of it. So if like most of the time, if you don't tell me, like the goal, what I'll do is do a blend of amiable and expressive. And afterwards, people will go ahead and they'll say, that guy's just, man, he's just freaking like that guy is so cool.
I think I want to get my roommate on with you, and I'll probably try and get that sooner because she's going to be moving, like she's moving out. So my window of time with her and even influence on her. So I might try and get her on with you soon.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I mean, it's fascinating because you don't, I mean, if I just typically, it's so natural. It's so especially, so I start talking to people and then I do the personality thing and then they're like, wow, that's so cool. And then I kind of feel, what do they want? Like, what do they want next? And, if they want to go deep, I can go deep really fast. If that's what they want, if they don't, it's okay. It can be surface too. Like it can be anything that they want it to be. Like the first experience that they have, I want it to be absolutely life changing and just like they never forget it. They're like, I never forget my first conversation with Mark. Like it's cool to learn how to do that with people is just neat. So, all right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yes, Mark.
We'll see ya. Bye bye.